Our next speaker is Neill Dixon. He is president of Canadian Music Week. I'm actually surprised Neill is still upright at the moment. Many of you will know CMW as probably the most influential annual music conference and festival here in Canada and in Toronto, featuring more than 1,000 artists and performers over 80 venues over 5 days. Anyway, all of that's to say, Neill just got to the end of Canadian Music Week and its sort of sister program with the Digital Media Summit over the last couple of days. So we're pleased to have him here. He is here representing the Canadian Association for the Advancement of Music and the Arts. And they've recently completed a report on the music industry market in Germany. And that coincides with Canadian Music Week's Spotlight on Germany that just wrapped up last week at last week's conference. So the report provides us with some good and very practical information for the music industry about export and market opportunities that, again, may well apply to other sectors trying to get into Germany. So over to Neill.
Hi, sorry. Yeah, a little tired after. It was actually 8 days. We started on May 3rd with MIA in concert. That was a pretty wild night. And then it ended with me hanging out with Tom Green. We also do a comedy festival. My liver's just recovering. Tom's a pretty wild guy. Anyway, yeah, a little quick history. The spotlight, we're doing a spotlight on Germany this year we just did, or just finished it at Canadian Music Week. And part of the lead up to that was researching, not only for the spotlight, but the research played very well into doing a market study on Germany. So the sort of history between myself and CAMA is I've been in the music business now 45 years, so started when I was like 10. Yeah. And I've owned a booking agency, a management company, a record label called Solid Gold Records. And in the 70s and 80s, we toured extensively with Canadian bands around the world, particularly Europe. And back in those days, Germany was still a divided country. And it wasn't until 1989 that the Berlin Wall came down and they united East and West. And then Germany really took off as a market. It was way behind the British market. It was, I think, fourth or fifth market in the world when they were just Western Germany. But now it's the third largest in the world, and it's the #1 market in Europe. So, so this research took part to cover a lot of different aspects of the music business. So if I can just rush over a couple of the sort of besides the overviews and retrospectives and whatnot that's in the report. There's current developments in the sound recording market in Germany. There is live concert business in Germany, which is huge. There is the German music publishing market, music promotion and media, and the digital market, which is a growing area. But curiously enough, when you see these slides, you'll realize they're still behind the rest of the world. So if we look at these numbers on this slide here, CDs are still the #1 product sold in as far as music in Germany. Now, that's contrary to I should say that's similar in other markets, but the percentage of CDs to digital is huge. So it's almost 75% to 25% currently. So if you compare that to Canada, we're now 40% digital. If you compare it to where some of the more advanced technological countries are, like Sweden, they are 70% digital. Excuse me. dehydrated. And interestingly enough, in Sweden, 94% of that, 70%, is subscription, which is streaming. So digital, Germans bought a total of 112 million digital and physical albums in 2012, and of that 112 million albums sold, 17.5 million were downloaded digitally. The increase in digital is happening, but it's happening primarily in the download market. Rihanna currently holds the record at 4 million downloaded singles in Germany. Now, downloads in other countries are dropping as streaming is taking place, but the physical is slowly eroding, but the digital, instead of being mainly streaming, it's still downloads. So revenues from physical and digital and streaming increased for the first time in 15 years. So there's been quite a slide since 2000 in the market. So it's currently €2 million in 2013. The market they're predicting is going to be conservative, but I think it'll be a while before digital takes over the physical market. Now this just gives you a bit of an eye-opener for me when you look at the best-selling records in Germany. First, if you look at them by artist and title, more than half the records sold in Germany are by German artists. And in their native language. So, although international is certainly a large part of this equation, the majority of albums are sold to an older demographic in the German language. The good news is, sales by percentage, international pop, which is probably the most of what we're exporting as Canadians recently, is 30% of the market. Rock is another almost 20% of the market, and classical is 7.2% of the market. Classical is still a really big as far as the live sector goes, which you'll see in a moment, still a huge part of their market. Sorry about that. Growing importance of audio and video streaming in Germany. Record labels' revenue subscription increased 137% in the first half of 2013 compared to the same period for 2012. The 2013 sales upswing in subscriptions and ad-funded offers totaled 91.2%. Audio streaming currently offers considerably more models for royalties than video streaming. The growing appeal of streaming is contributing considerably to the curbing of illegal pirating of music. These are currently on the right are the current, one slide behind. Currently are the major carriers in Germany. You can see a number of them overlap with our carriers here in Canada, but majority are local. And finally, I just decided to concentrate on certain aspects of the market as far as record sales and live. Like I say, I didn't get into a number of the other aspects just because of time restraints. But interestingly enough, when you look at the music events in 2012, that's the latest figures we had, musicals, 435 million euros. That was over music festivals, which was the next biggest earner of money, 317 million euros. So it's, again, this sort of goes back to, well, if you go down one more statistic, you'll see classical music concerts almost has the same amount of money in revenues as contemporary music festivals, which is hard to believe considering how many contemporary festivals there are in Germany at the moment. It's one of the most busiest markets for live music in Europe. There's 1,238 open-air and indoor festivals in Germany. Bavaria hosts the most with 202 festivals, and also followed by the North Rhine with 184, and Baden-Württemberg with 180. Now, this is kind of amazing when you realize how small Germany is, and these festivals are a short drive from each other. Makes touring fantastic, but it's very competitive. We getting close to time here? Yeah, okay, well, I'll wrap this. But all this information and lots more, there's a 32-page report here, is available on the OMDC website and at cama.org. There's also 6 interviews with some of the top leading music professionals in Germany to give a personalized view of what opportunities we have to do business in their country. Thank you. My pleasure.